Good day, sir. I'm Ganzijin from IntelliMesh Core, and today I'll be presenting for the Sudoku problem in Lisp. So the first part of the code will be the initialization of the Sudoku puzzle data, and the first will be defar, which is the keyword to initialization or so-called declare the variable board. So for the second line will be the 2a. So the 2a will be means that it will be a two-dimensional array. And here following with the 9 lines of the numbers. And for the 0 will be the empty cells, and the other uh, bigger than 0 or somehow other number will be the normal. Here comes with the most important function in this code, which is the guess functions. The define keyword is used to declare the guess functions, and the index will be the parameter sent to the guess functions. So for the first two lines will be the code which calculates the rows and also the columns index with the given index. And this truncate will actually returns two value, which is the quotient and also the remainder, but the mode will actually returns only the remainder. So for this code, shows that the following codes will be the conditional statements. And the first conditional statement will be if the row or column is greater or equals than 9, we will actually return a t which is true to the functions. What this means is that if the calculated row or column is greater or equals than 9, it means that all cells have been filled and the Sudoku puzzle is solved. And the next line will be the conditional statements to check if the current cells already contains a non-zero value, and the function needs to proceed to the next cells by making a recursive call with an incremental index, which means that the index will be incremented by 1 and back to the front part and execute until the conditional statement is fulfilled. So here comes with the third condition. So if the current cell is empty, the function enters a loop using do times to try each of the possible number from 1 to 9 in the cells. The loop body will iterate the loop variable I from 0 to 8, which is in total of 9. And if the check function, it allows to placing 1 plus I into the current cells based on the Sudoku rules, and it will set the cells to 1 plus I. And it will actually make a recursive call to the guess function with an incremental index plus 1. And if the recursive function is returning true, which is it indicating the success of the guess, and the function will immediately return t to propagate the success up the recursion stack. So this will be the last part of the guess function, which is the fail. So this is the fail function is a backtracking of failure, and if the loop completes without finding a valid number, the fail function is called to reset the current cells to 0, and the loop continues with the next iterations. So here will be the next function, fail. So the fail function is a utility function used to backtracking in the Sudoku solving algorithm, and is proposed to reset the value of the cells to 0 when the previous guess in the cells leads to a dead end and does not contribute to a valid solutions. And that's all for my part, and my teammate will be explaining for the rest of the code. Thank you.
Good morning, teacher everyone. My name is Brandon Mingwan. You can call me Brian. My student ID is 121120610. Is the group leader from the IntelliMesh Core. I will to present is my assignment 1. The topic is Lisp. So now we see the code. So now we continue the check function. The check function is responsible for determining whether it's the valid to place a given number num at a specific position, row and column on the Sudoku board. It checks if placing the number in the specified cell violate the rows of the Sudoku which are no repetition of the same number in the same row, no repetition of the same number in the same column, and no repetition of the same number in the 3 times 3 subgrid. So for the num is the number of the can be checked. For the row is the index of the cell being checked. The column means is the column. So in here we can see the num have a num and the R and a C. The num means the number to be checked, and the R is the rows index of the cells being checked, and the C is the column index of the cell being checked. So now we see this line. This line is the num aref broad row I. This means is it check if number already exists in the same rows by iterating through each column. And this line equals num aref broad I column. It means is it check if num already exists in the same column by iterating through each row I. Okay, so we see the next line. Next line is equals number aref broad bracket plus R mod I3 plus C truncate I3 return NIL. Okay, what does this mean? This means is it check if num already exists in the 3 times 3 subgrid that contains the cells at row, columns by iterating through the subgrid. So if any this check find a match, the function return NIL nil, indicating that the placement is invalid. Otherwise, it returns T, indicating that the placement is valid. So now we see the next function. The next function is the printboard function. So this is a printboard function. The printboard function is responsible for displaying the current state of the Sudoku board in a readable format. It uses a combination of symbols and characters to represent the grid and the number in the cell. So now we see the line of the function. So the first line is a different printboard. So we see the next line is a dot time R9. The dot time R9 is the outer loop. The outer loop iterates over each row of the Sudoku board intertext from 0 to 8. So we see the next. So the next is the if 0 mod R3 format and another one. Okay, this means is if the current rows index R is a multiple of 3, it prints a horizontal line to separate the block. Otherwise, it prints a line of space to maintain the grid structure. So now we see the next line. Next line is the dot time C9. It is the inner loop. So this means is the inner loop iterates over each column of the Sudoku board. So now we see the last part. The last part is the current column index C is a multiple of the 3. It prints a vertical line to separate the block. Otherwise, it prints the value of the cells at position R, C along with space. So the printboard function uses format output to display the Sudoku board with appropriate separator to represent the 3 times 3 blocks and individual cells. This makes the board visually clear and readable for the user. So now we see the last function. Last function is the solve function. So the solve function is the main driver of the Sudoku solving process. So we see the code. The first line is to define the function name is to solve, and we see the next line and the last line. If gives 0, printboard format T solution not found. So this line is a condition statement using the if specifier operator. It checks the result of calling the GIS function with an initial index of 0. If GIS is 0, return T, right, true. It means a solution has been found. In that case, it calls printboard to print the printboard function to print the solved Sudoku board. If GIS 0 return NIL false, it means no solution was found. So in that case, it print an error message using the format T, oh sorry, the solution not found. So that's all is my presentation. Thank you.
This will be the whole program, and I'll go through some brief explanations and also demonstrations. So the first will be the initialization of the Sudoku problem we want to solve, and it is initialized with the variable board and also is a 2D array. And this will be the get function, and it's a recursive functions which calling for check and also fail function if the function is failed. So this fail function will actually resetting the value back to 0 and return a nil. And the check function we also check if the numbers in the rows and also column. And last is the 3 times 3 subgrid have the repetition number. And it also return a nil. And this printable will actually print the solution in a better format so that the user can locate in a better look. And then lastly, the solve function will call the recursive function guess and also print the solution if the number is correct. And if the number is not correct, and it will actually print out the sorry solution is not found to the user. So now we'll go through the demonstration. Firstly, we'll run the program and we'll call the solve functions. Okay, so now the program will actually return a correct answer for Sudoku problem, and the row will be not the same, and the column will be not the same, and also inside the 3 times 3 subgrid, we also don't have the same numbers. So that's all for the presentation. Thank you.